Hi, I'm Nancy Verlage, a museum educator at Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, and this video is part of your My Museum Classroom Kit. Come as you are. In this segment, we will be looking at Untitled Yellowstone Swan Lake by Coby Moulls. As we look together, it will be helpful for you to have paper and something to write with as you respond to the prompts in the video. Please pause the video to get those things now if you need to. This video is jam-packed with fun information and activities, so feel free to pause or rewind the video at any time as you need to. Before we get started discussing this work of art, let's take a few moments to let our eyes wander all over it and gather useful details. What are some things you notice? At first glance, we see people dressed the same, running and frolicking through a wide open landscape. We see some shrubs in the foreground, hills in the background, and an expansive sky with clouds taking up over half the painting. To me, it feels like a summer day. It also looks as if it's a photograph. It's so realistic. What do you think? The figures that take up the foreground are people doing various things. Some are running, some are sitting, others are jumping. But if we look a little closer, we see it is the same person repeated over and over again. It is, in fact, the artist himself. Coby Moulls is a transgender man, and this painting is from a series called Boys Just Want to Have Fun. Moulls traveled the United States, visiting the locations of some of the most famous landscape paintings by artists from the Hudson River School, a mid-19th century art movement whose paintings romanticized American landscapes. His paintings renegotiate his relationship with these different places. In Western tradition, large landscape paintings communicate the overwhelming power of nature and God. Moulls embraces that tradition while intentionally disrupting it with his introduction of many selves. In this painting, he responds to his own religious upbringing, challenging the idea that his gender and sexual orientation are unnatural or against God. Moulls multiplies his own body, taking up the entirety of the landscape, attempting to redefine his relationship to God and nature. The series of paintings that Moulls created from his travels are an exploration of himself. Looking at the landscape and renegotiating his relationship to them, he says he takes who he is now and his past self and aligns them in a way that makes sense. Just one person is very small in a vast landscape. It overwhelms and makes an individual insignificant. But to place a mass quantity of one person in the space, the landscape becomes smaller. The person becomes more prominent. There is an element of playfulness and joy in the different selves. He's in different locations and seen with different perspectives. He integrates himself into the vast landscape, and we are drawn in to see what his selves are doing. If you were in this landscape, where would you choose to go? Would you picnic on the open grass, or maybe swim in the still blue lake? Or climb a hill and roll down, or even hang glide gently over all of it? The tempting sunny day and lush green land invites us to do many things. Please pause the video and write down where you would put yourself in this painting and what you would be doing. Joining us to discuss where we might go in this landscape is Kim Lee, a local artist. Hi, Kim. I hope you all have enjoyed thinking about putting yourself into this landscape, just as Coby Moulls incorporated himself multiple times in various poses. Coby Moulls understands the complexity of being transgender in the world today. There are people who might not give much thought to gender as a concept. They might wonder why there are so many different ways to describe a person's gender. But people's thoughts and feelings about their gender can be complex. Having a variety of words to describe various ways people think about their gender helps communicate who they are. Respect the words people use to describe themselves, and remember, we need to always invite everyone to come as they are. Joining us to discuss where we might go in this landscape is Kim Lee, a local artist. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Nancy.
I know you're familiar with this artwork. Where would you go and what would you be doing in this beautiful piece of art?
Yeah, this landscape is very idyllic. Great weather going on. It's blue skies. There's like green grass. It's obviously like a nice time to be outside, almost like what spring coming up and everything. So I think I would actually place myself near the little creek or river that's going on in the background. My friend and I love going canoeing, and I would imagine ourselves going down that stream a little bit and then taking a stop, just pulling the canoe in and then opening up a picnic basket in the field somewhere. And I kind of also get the sense of like there would probably be like some game played, especially with the way that Kobe Mools has like positioned his person around in this environment. So I think that's where I would be. Where would you be, Nancy?
Well, I agree with you. I don't know why this painting screams picnic so much. Maybe just all of the running around makes you hungry or something, but I agree. I'm not a big canoeer, but I am a big hiker, and I would hike up to the top of that hill, and I would just sit in a sunny spot and pull out some food, and I would probably take a nap. I'd lay back. I would love to just take a nap because I think the smells of everything around me and the birds and just all those wonderful sounds, I would love to be there. That would be a really nice place. And Kobe Mools exactly has placed himself in it all over. So I think it's wonderful that we can think of a place that we would like to be. And I think he'd like that too. I hope y'all have enjoyed thinking about putting ourselves in the landscape, just as Kobe Mools incorporated himself multiple times and in various places. And I really appreciate you coming, Kim.
Thank you. See you guys there.
Thanks for joining me, Kim, and thank you for listening to us. Now, please feel free to go to the art making video that is related to the Kobe Mools Yellowstone Swan Lake. Remember to keep in mind what you have learned here as you have some fun making interesting and wonderful art. Thank you very much.